Got a new little upgrade for the truck. It is the Bulletpoint Ruby Grid Dash Mount. This bracket here will mount behind the infotainment screen, and it will allow you to mount ball mounts for cell phone mounts, for GoPros. I'm also hoping to mount my screen for my RV rear view camera on this as well. And it mounts right behind this screen. So the first thing we did was we popped out the plastic insert that's in there, and now I'm working on drilling that out, following the instructions to get it installed, and I'll kind of show you the process. So here's the plastic insert. It's been removed. I've already drilled the holes, but there's a couple of notches in the back of the insert that are already there from the factory, and you just use those as guides to drill the holes. Now that I have the holes drilled, you take your bracket, set it in place, line it up, and then there's two bolts that you took out of the dash that you insert in here for making sure everything fits proper, and that will align things up so I can drill out the two holes for two additional bolts for these two sections. So we'll switch from the big drill bit to the small drill bit. I'll get those holes marked and we'll get those bolts in. So I use my center punch, and I center punched the area for the two holes. I switch to the small drill bit. And those two holes are now drilled. It's kind of nice that the kit comes with just about everything you need. Just had to pull my drill out and my center punch, and I went ahead and grabbed a 7mm socket on my 1/4" drive to use for it. Now I'm supposed to mount the bracket in here, make sure all the holes line up, and then I've got bolts that it comes in the kit. We'll take these bolts and get them installed, get them tightened up so we can get this thing installed. Alright, so we got the two lower screws mounted, the nuts tightened up. They're nylock nuts so they won't loosen. I pulled out the factory bolts that go in underneath this bracket. I pulled them out so the bracket will go back in. Now you push this bracket back into place, snap it with these clips, and then you insert these bolts after this goes in and tighten those up to secure this in the dashboard. Alright, we got the bracket. Everything's in place. It goes right back where it was supposed to go and snaps in. Even just snapped in, it's pretty secure. But then you take your factory bolts and put them back in place. Tighten those up, and it's even going to be more secure. Now they're all tight, it's good to go. So this is the top plate for the Ruby Grid system, and it mounts with 4 screws onto the plate we just mounted into the dash. All I'm doing now is figuring out where do I want to. I just bought this kit with just one cell phone holder. It's all I really want right now until I figure out exactly what I want to do with this and add to it, because you can add up to 4 of these ball mounts to it. I think I'm going to mount it far over here. I think that'll work the best. It'll give me lots of room to move the cell phone around, and should work. But we'll get that mounted to the top plate and then mount the top plate back in. So we got the ball mount bolted on. Now we're going to put this in and attach it with its 4 screws. I'd say I give props to Bulletpoint for this. They give you a full extra set of screws to hold this tray down, so should not have any issues installing this. And there it is, solid mount. And then I can put the cell phone holder back on, and then I can work on positioning it where I want, and we're good to go. And the nice part is I can add 3 more of these ball mounts, and I'm thinking about getting one. I've seen one that'll be a GoPro holder. I have DJI Osmo Sport camera, not GoPros, but it'll still work. So I can have something like that for up here for videoing, and then I'm hoping to mount my screen for my rear view camera for the trailer up here as well. And I'm hoping with the adjustability of this, I can mount things low so I still have my full field of view out the front window and still be able to see everything in the dash. So really impressed right now with the Bulletpoint. Really, really good, solid construction. The arms are really lightweight. The mount seems to be super solid, and we'll give it a whirl and see how well it works and what I think of it down the road. But I think it's a good upgrade. Some other things the kit comes with for the Ruby Grid Dash Mount system from Bulletpoint is a very well described instruction sheet. Very detailed, very easy to follow. And also some of the things I had left over after installing is they send a sticker, a keychain. I understand this is also possibly a can opener. This is a can opener shaped like a bullet. 2 different size of drill bits needed for the install, a wrench. I ended up not using the wrench. I went to my 1/4" drive socket and got a 7 and 8 millimeter socket to do my install, just a little bit easier. It comes with a screwdriver. It comes with a plastic pry tool to get the plastic insert out. It comes with a hex wrench. I have an extra bolt that was used to bolt the frame to the plastic insert. I have 4 extra screws that held the top plate to the frame of the Ruby Grid, and then 5 nuts that can be used inside the Ruby Grid. They're designed to sit in the slots so you don't have to gain access underneath, and you can slide things back and forth if you need to. So all that stuff came with the kit. Kit came in a nice cardboard box with foam cutouts, and I've got it installed and got it adjusted for my phone, and it works really well. I'm really happy with it. We'll use it for a while and report back on what we think about it. Oregon, our home state. We've lived in Oregon for over 50 years. We're thinking about a new trip idea and was throwing this out to all of our viewers to see if they have any suggestions about places we need to see in Oregon. A little history of Oregon. It was incorporated February 14th, 1859. Out of the 50 states, it is the 9th largest, but it's only the 27th most populous, with 4.3 million people living in the state. It has 98,381 square miles of land, and it's approximately 400 miles across east to west in the state. Its highest point is Mount Hood at 11,249 feet. And as of this time, the only national park present in the state of Oregon is Crater Lake National Park. Oregon is divided into 36 different counties. And I can say in my 50 plus years of being in the state, I have been in every single county of the state. But I can't say I've really done a lot of sightseeing or camping in every county of the state. What our trip idea is kind of the tour of Oregon. And we want to go to every single county and do camping and or sightseeing in every county in the state. I mean, I've been to places such as the Steens Mountains, Crater Lake, Little Crater Lake. Back years and years ago, we took a trip up 101 and hit every single lighthouse along the Oregon coast. We have been in the Cascade Range. We've been on the Coastal Range. I used to hike and hunt the Tillamook Burn. I've been to the Metolius River, the head of the Metolius River. I've been along I-84 along the Columbia River. I've fished in the Columbia River. I've been out to a camp named after a relative of ours off of out of the Joseph Enterprise area. I've hunted and backpacked and camped several wilderness areas in the state. But I can say even with all that, there's still so much I haven't seen. From the Owyhee River Canyon to the Leslie Gulch. So many covered bridges, all especially on the west side of the state. There's just so many things I haven't been to. The idea is to come up with what we should go do and see in every county of the state. Now this atlas breaks things down to pretty small sections so we can get a pretty good detailed look at every county. And I've gone through with a notebook and started listing different things per every county. I'm now getting online and looking at, I've already found some of these places that I can find on this atlas, which I will admit dates back to the late 1990s. It's a little outdated, so some of the things I found are already closed or no longer open to the public, like the West Coast Game Park and some other things I found. But what I'm looking at from you guys is, do you have any suggestions of places in Oregon that we should definitely go see? And I will say, a little caveat to all this, is Sonia and I are not really big city people. We also struggle with a lot of health issues, specifically to our diet, and we cannot just go out to eat whenever, as we have a lot of diet restrictions. So things like that, certain restaurants, big city things, just really not our thing. I'm leaning towards trying to find every still surviving covered bridge in the state. Waterfalls is another one, as long as they're relatively short hikes. Again, with some of our health-related issues, we cannot go on 6, 7, 8 mile hikes. We just can't do that anymore. So our hikes need to be relatively level ground, things like that. But what are some suggestions you have? Again, we have seen some things like the lighthouses along the coast. I've been to a lot of different places. I've climbed Saddle Mountain back in youth group. I've traveled a lot of the different roads in the state, going to and from the beach. We used to live in Yamhill County. We used to live in Washington County. There are some things in the Portland area I would like to go again, as we have not been in decades, and that's like the Pittock Mansion and the Japanese Gardens. So most things are on the table. We would love to hear from you guys as to what suggestions you have, but give us some ideas. I don't know when this is going to happen. A lot of this depends on the Tidewood. I'm in the process of doing work on it now. It's coming along, but it's got a little ways to go. When it gets a little bit further and we have a permanent bed frame in it and the bathroom walls are up and things are coming together more, we're definitely going to be using it more. It may not be until next year that we actually start doing this, but I really like to hear some of your suggestions, so feel free to get in the comments and give us some ideas. I haven't been to Crater Lake in forever. We're probably going to go back there. So some of the bigger ticket items like that. But some of the other things like the Alvord Desert and some of that stuff that I haven't been to, I'm really looking forward to going and exploring and taking you guys along with us. So hopefully early next year, next spring, we can start actually getting out there and hitting these campsites and going and seeing these sites and sharing with you guys the experiences of our tour of Oregon. So looking forward to it. I hope to hear some good comments from everybody, and look forward to sharing this journey with you. Hopefully early next year we can start getting out there and doing it. As always, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching our videos, and we'll see you on the next adventure.